Hello, I'm Major David Miles of the Suffolk Sheriff's Office, and today we're reading Ways to Make Sunshine by Renee Watson. Chapter 9, What Easter Means to Me. The next morning, Mom makes me wear a shower cap when I get in the tub, so your hair doesn't get wet, she tells me. And when we go outside to get into the car to ride to church, she tells me to put my hood on because it's drizzling. Church starts off with prayer and singing. I usually sit next to Mom and Dad, but today, all the children who are saying speeches are sitting together. We take up 3 rows and we'll say our speeches in between songs the choir sings. The choir sings their first selection, and then Deacon Leroy calls Luke up to the front of the sanctuary to play his piano solo. Please give a round of applause for Luke as he plays Amazing Grace. We all clap as Luke, who is 16, walks to the piano, sits down, and starts to play. Luke plays the piano like it was made just for him. His fingers float along the keys, making the old women cry and the old men lift their hands. And then, just as the adults start to really catch the spirit, Luke turns around, winks at those of us in the front row, and starts to play the Linus and Lucy song from Charlie Brown. All of us kids start laughing, and by the time Deacon Leroy gets back to the microphone to get everyone to calm down, Luke has ended his piano solo and is returning to his seat. Well, amen. The young man has a gift, doesn't he? Son, I hope you use your gift for good, not to be mischievous. Deacon Leroy clears his throat. Now, let's see. Next we have Bobby Manning coming to recite his speech. We're all still giggling, but then there is a hush over the audience once Bobby gets to the microphone. He is talking a little too fast, but at least he says his whole speech. The mic wasn't turned up enough, so it was hard to hear him. Deacon Leroy stands and says, and next we have Miss Kiki. He adjusts the mic for Kiki and then motions to the sound man, pointing his thumb up, up, up. Kiki takes the mic off the stand and says to her speech with no mistakes or pauses at all. She does so well, the whole congregation is clapping and saying amen. Kiki always does a good job. She is good at acting and singing, and now I see making speeches is something to add to her long list of things Kiki is good at. After the choir sings 2 songs, Ray is next, and of course he is perfect because he is good at everything. Then it's Gary's turn. Gary forgets one of his lines and starts crying so hard his mom has to carry him off the stage. Olivia messes up twice, but she doesn't cry. Instead, she keeps squinting her eyes. When I turn back to see what she's looking at, I see her mother mouthing the words. I turn back around, and Olivia is leaning forward so far, trying to read her mother's lips, I think she might fall over. Huh? She says. Her mother whispers, but not that quietly, Christ rose on this day. Huh? Christ rose on this day. I can't understand what you're saying, Olivia says. Then Bobby blurts out, Christ rose on this day! And we all start laughing, even the adults. Olivia finishes her speech and runs back to her seat. There are a few more speeches and more songs from the choir, and then it's my turn. I walk over to the microphone, feeling confident in my new dress with my freshly pressed hair. I speak the title loud like I practiced. What Easter Means to Me. The mic makes a high-pitched squeaking sound, and all the children in the front row plug their ears. I step back a bit and say it again. What Easter means to me. The microphone isn't loud enough this time, and some teen in the 3rd row who only comes to church on holidays with his grandparents says, We can't hear you. And Deacon Leroy tells me, just take the mic off the stand, hold it close to your mouth, sweetheart. And I don't know if it's because my hands are sweaty or if it's because I just saw Olivia mess up so bad, but I drop the mic and it makes a really, really loud noise. And now I have forgotten all the words to my speech. It's okay, baby. Take your time, Miss Howard says. She's a Sunday school teacher and the woman who puts on all special programs for Easter and Christmas and youth revival. It's okay. Just take your time, she says again. I just stand there. I don't look at Mom or Dad or Ray or Kiki. I don't remember any of the words I practiced and practiced. I think maybe I can just say anything about Jesus and the cross and him rising. But Miss Howard has our speeches in her hand. She is sitting there in the front row following along. Just when she starts to give me the first word, I walk away. As I go take my seat, I hear the holiday church-going boy say, "Guess Easter doesn't mean anything to her." All the kids laugh, and so instead of taking my seat, I keep right on walking. I see Mom scoot over to make room for me, like she did last year, and the year before that, and always. But I don't go and sit by her. I go to my Sunday school classroom. I know no one will be in there. It's my favorite room in the church because of the pictures of brown angels that hang on the wall. I sit down on one of the metal chairs. I can't believe that after all that practicing, I got up there and could not remember my speech. Now that I'm in here all by myself, I can say over and over and over again in my head. Mom comes into the classroom and puts her arms around me. She wipes my tears and gives me the same speech she always gives. It's okay. At least you tried. She hugs me and says, "We ought to go back up and listen to the rest of the program." "Please, Mom. Please don't make me go back in the sanctuary. I just can't." "Now, Ryan, I think it's important that you go and support everyone. Service is almost over. You won't be up there long. You can even sit with me and your father. I can hear the choir singing, and I know this means there is only one more round of speeches." "But, Mom, everyone laughed at me. I don't want to go back up there." "Ryan, honey, what have I told you about living up to your name? About being the leader you are? I'm not a leader. I'm a girl who gets so scared standing in front of people that I freeze and forget my words. That's not a good leader at all." "Yes, it is. As long as you tried, that's all I ask of you is that you try. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Next time, you'll try again, and maybe you'll get through the whole thing." Mom takes my hand, and we go back upstairs. No holding your head down," she says. I try. I really do try to keep my head up. But as soon as we go back upstairs, I keep my eyes on the floor, careful not to make eye contact with anyone. I wonder why Jesus' love for us has to be celebrated by torturing children to memorize poems. Right now, all Easter means to me is microphones that don't work and brains that forget words for no good reason. After church, I rush to the car and don't even say goodbye or good job to Kiki. On the ride home, Mom, Dad, and Ray are all quiet and acting like if they say something to me, I will collapse into tears. Dad has the gospel radio station on, and Kurt Franklin's voice is filling the car. I decided to say the speech out loud. I couldn't do it in front of the full congregation, but I know I can do it in here with family. I know Mom is right about trying and trying and trying again. I asked Dad to turn the radio down, and I begin. What Easter means to me. It is the coming together to give thanks, to sing praises. Not for material things, but for the love that heals us, that saves us. It is the coming together to embrace new beginnings, to ask for and offer forgiveness, to count our blessings, to remember grace, to hold on to kindness. Easter means a brand new day, to try again, to lend a hand. Easter reminds us to put others first, to be the best that we can be. That's what Easter means to me. And now, get ready for chapter 10.